For the Windows users, here are the applications that you need to install for this course. So the first one is the make utility, or the GNU make utility. Second one that you need to install is the cube ID from STM. Third one is the STM programmer, or the flasher. Then you need to install the ARM GNU tools, GNU Toolchain. And last of all, you need to install Terraterm, which is a serial program. So let us start with the make utility. So to install the make utility, you will have to first open the browser and say, you can type in the search GNU make utility for Windows, and you get this make for Windows GNU Win32. So this gives you this installs the make utility. Make utility is not there by default on Windows, and we will need the make utility for our bare metal compilation of our code. The IDE has its own make utility. We don't need it for that, but this utility will be needed for, especially on the chapter on make file linker. So anyway, so this is the make for Windows, and go down to the download section and download the setup, that is the complete package. So go to the setup and download the make. Now when you install the make, remember that by default the path for the make does not go into the environment variables in Windows, so you need to manually add it to the environment variables. We'll do that. So the download start. So this is a SourceForge website. So you have your software here, and it asks you whether it wants to download the make utility. Now the make utility is already downloaded by me previously. So if you want to, you have to say save. Once the make utility is installed, you will have to add the path. So let us install the make utility anyway on top of what I have. Doesn't hurt. So let's go to downloads and double click on make. So the installer opens up. It asks whether it wants to go ahead with the install. So this is, I am working on Windows 10 by the way. Some of you would be working on Windows 11. So the process is the same. So the make utility comes up, make setup wizard, next, accept the agreement, next. And this is the path, C program files, x86 GNU Win32. You may need to make a note of this, because this is the path that we will need to add to the environment variables later. Next, binaries documentation, okay. GNU Win32 make, and do a next, install. So it installs the make utility. But once, even if the make utility is installed, if you go to the console and type make, in my case it will work. Okay, in my case make is going to work. It says no target specified, but in your case, when you just install make, it is not going to work, because you will have to set the system environment variables. So do search for system environment variables. And okay, so just edit the system environment variables, open it. When you open the system environment variables, system properties, so it is system properties, go to environment variables, and in environment variables you will have system variables. Double click on path. In path, see, I have already added this previously, but in your case this entry will not be there. You have to go and do an edit. When you do an edit, you will have to do a new. Edit would edit the existing value, so you have to do a new. So do a new and put your path in here. So type your path in. So it is going to be C program files x86 GNU Win32 bin. If you have allowed the install to happen here, put that here and then do OK. After you do OK, if you open the command prompt, you should be able to see that your make utility is up and running. So that is how the make is installed. Once the make is installed, you will let us install the cube ID, that is the STM32 cube ID. Now the STM32 cube ID can be found on the ST web page. Now remember that when you get into the ST web page, if you have not gone to the ST web page before, you need to register yourself. That's the first thing you need to do, because you can download the software even without registering. It sends you a link to your mail ID, but I have seen that functionality is a little flaky because sometimes the link does not work. So it is better that you register first. Once you register, download becomes very easy. So let the web page open. So once the ST web page comes up, and you have to register yourself. So click on this icon and it will open up the registration page. You can either log in or register on that page. So if you have not registered, just do a create account and fill in your details. Once your details are filled in, then you can log in through here. So let's have a look at the create account page. So you have salutation, Mr., Miss, Mrs., anything, whatever you put here. And then you have to put your first name, your last name, email confirmation, your function, put in all the relevant details and click on register, and you will be registered with ST. Once you're registered with ST, you can log into ST. So I will log in here with my email ID. And put your password. Once you log in, then you can download all the software that you need. So we will be downloading two applications. One is STM32 cube ID, another one is STM programmer. So let's do it together, one after the other. I have already downloaded it previously, but nevertheless, let's have a look at how to search for the software. So the first one, so click here for opening the search field and type cube ID and then press enter. So it will take you to the cube ID link. Now since you are logged in, download will be pretty straightforward, and then after that, once it's downloaded to your machine, you have to install it. So let's see what it brings up. So we have STM32 cube ID. This is what we need to install. Now we will need to so you will see there will be multiple installers for Linux, Macintosh, Windows, and so on. So Linux has 3 types of installers. So we are interested in the Windows installer. So come to the Get Software section. It takes a while to load. Once the Get Software section is loaded, you see that you have different cube ID for different operating systems and different versions of Linux. So you have one for Windows, you have for Mac, you have for Linux. So we need the Windows installer. So do a get latest. Once you do a get latest, it asks you for a license agreement. Say accept. And then it asks for you to download the cube ID. So if you say save, it is going to, so see, I have already installed it, 14494 0724. So this is what it is going to download. So I'm not going to download it again. This is what you're going to get here. This particular installer. That's a exe. So anyway, since let's see. Let's save it and see what we get. So it is downloading your cube ID. So once it downloads, this is what it's going to be like. Okay. STM32 cube ID, and you'll have the x86-64. That's the application that you're going to have. Okay. Let's download the programmer also. Let us go and search for the cube programmer. So let's do cube. So this is the flasher tool actually. So since we are on the STM website, let us see what it comes up with. So this is the programmer that we are looking at, STM32 cube programmer. So it will open a page similar to cube ID, and you can download the Windows version of the installer. So let's try to do that. This is the cube programmer software page from where you can download the cube programmer. This is the get software section. So you have for Windows 32, Windows 64, for Linux, for Mac. So Windows 64, we will, assuming that most of you will be using the Windows 64 variant, we'll download it for the Windows 64. So same process, do a get latest, and so pick it up for Win 64 here. Once you click on that, you'll get a page for accepting the license like previous. Once you do that, your download is going to start. So this is the program, and it's already downloaded on my machine, but you have to click on save and download it. So once these two programs are downloaded, so let's try to install the cube ID and the flash programmer one by one. So once you download it, you're going to get this folder. Double click on that. This is the executable for your install. So do a run as administrator. It will ask for permission to run the software. Say yes. Next. I agree. This is the destination folder, leave it at that, cst. And the environment variable is automatically set up by the installer, but you have to check a box somewhere at the end of the installation. So we'll see that the installation has started for STM32Cube IDE. And this is the cube programmer, and this is in the zipped format. So we can, I've already unzipped it here. Nevertheless, we could unzip it again, and while that installation is going on, let us unzip it here. So it says it already exists. So let us not do it again, since it says it already exists. I just wanted to show you that you have to unzip it this way. So let's say no to all, and this is the programmer. So let's see what happens here. It takes a while to install. While this is installing, let us go and download the ARM GCC toolchain. So this is how you should do it also, to save time. So let us open the web browser and try to look for the ARM GCC toolchain. So you can type GNU ARM GCC here, GNU ARM GCC, and let's see what we get. Go to the ARM GNU toolchain, ARM developer, or GNU ARM embedded toolchain downloads. You can go to any of this, but finally you have to go to the download page. So when you come here, once the page loads, this is the ARM GNU toolchain page. You need to go to the downloads. So download ARM GNU toolchain, click on that. We come to the downloads page. Now when you go down, you will have downloads both for Windows and Linux hosted toolchains. We will have to download the Windows hosted toolchain because this is for Windows. Now we will download the 64-bit, assuming that you are using your 64-bit Windows machine, which is mostly the case these days. So we are going to download the fourth entry, GNU ARM toolchain 12.2rel1 W64IC686 ARM None ABA EXE. So that's what we are downloading. So, and of course it's already there, but this is how you need to download it. So you have to say save, and it downloads. So this is still going on. So let this complete, and let's see the status of download here. This is downloading. It's a 203 MB file. So let's go and check. So this was already downloaded by me anyway, but that was to show you. So now let's see where the install is at. So this takes a while. So the installation completed now. Press next and then say create desktop shortcut. Now let us see if it has come. So we can see the IDE has got installed. Now let's double click and open the IDE. If it opens, then the installation has gone through successfully. This is a Java based IDE, it's based on Eclipse, as you know, and it's a little bit sluggish to open, but it works fine. The STM32Cube IDE is quite pleasant to use. It's not that complicated, and you can start using it right away. Not too much configuration. We will be working on Makefile based projects, so I have had to do minimal configuration actually to get this up and running. Some debug configurations are needed in the IDE, but besides that, more or less it works out of the box without much tweaking. Takes a little while to open up. Once we see that the IDE is functional, we have also installed the flasher, and that is the STM32 programmer. So we downloaded 2 applications from the ST website, and in the middle, in the interim, while the STM32 IDE was getting installed, we also downloaded the ARM GNU toolchain. So we will, after this, we are going to install the programmer, that is STM32 flash programmer, and the ARM GNU toolchain. So we say launch, so it tells you that it wants to place this workspace somewhere. Place it as per your convenience. I am placing it wherever it is prompting me to. So the version is 1.11.2. That is a STM32 Cube IDE version. The Eclipse version is different. So you might want to read the release notes also for Cube IDE. It's basically a package comprising of Eclipse and then GNU tools. Now the ARM GNU tool that we had downloaded separately will not be used by the Cube IDE. That is going to be used separately by us, as I stated in the Makefile linker segment. And this Cube IDE has its own toolchain. So the ARM GNU toolchain is separate for Cube IDE. It has a separate, so the make utility that we have installed separately on Windows will again not be used by Cube IDE. It has its own embedded make utility. The GDB server, everything that the Cube IDE needs, including the JRE, is all bundled in here. So it's quite a standalone tool. It doesn't need anything much from outside, and on top of that, it installs all the drivers that are necessary to for a debug session to communicate with the board through a debugger. It even includes OpenOCT. It includes tools needed for Macintosh and so on. Installing the toolchain. So the IDE has opened for me. This will open up the release notes also for this IDE. Now what you see here is a project that I had opened in the previous install and uninstall. That is why you see this. Ideally, when you open the IDE, you are going to let's delete this. Let's delete the project. So this is how it is going to look in your case. So just say remove. Say ask me later. So okay. So this is how it is going to look, and it is going to have an instruction page open where it will prompt you to. That's okay. It'll prompt you to start a project from CubeMX and so on. Just close that window. Some instruction, there'll be an instruction window. Just close the window and come to Project Explorer directly. And for us, we will be having to start a Makefile project straight away from the files that we have. So what we'll do is we'll do, say, my first STM32 project. That's the project name, and we'll just choose an existing code base that we have. So we have some code on the desktop. So choose basic code, do a select folder and choose MCU ARM GCC. Do not choose cross GCC, choose MCU ARM GCC and say finish. The moment you do that, it will open the Makefile project and it will be ready for compilation. You don't need to do anything more to set this up. So this is very easy. See, the project has come up here and you could straight away start building the project. So just let's clean it first if it has some residual binary files. So it says clean all projects. Don't start a build immediately. My first STM32 project. So don't do clean all projects. Just this one and say clean. It cleans or it removes everything. And the information it takes from the Makefile that we have written. So we will see how to write Makefiles. So once the project is clean, we will see the console messages coming here. The make clean comes up and it cleans up the project first. It cleans up all the unwanted files. So this is the project and these are the files that we have created. So nothing is created automatically by the IDE. So since this is a bare metal project, we will have everything done manually. So the project is cleaned. Now if you want to build the project, you just have to go to the project and say build all. When you do build all, it will start building the project. And again, this information it is going to take from the Makefile. This is not coming from within the IDE. All these commands, this is coming from the Makefile that we have written. So it runs the make, and if there are no errors, it is going to create your output binary and map file and everything here. There you go. So it ran the build and it has created the output files here. See that it has created the binary file. It has created the build example.map file and so on. So all of these files it has created. So our IDE is working fine. So that's a good sign. IDE is working. Now let us have a look at the STM32 Cube IDE release note. That STM web page will open up and it will automatically lead you to this. Like I was saying, it's an IDE based on Eclipse framework. It's aimed at users developing embedded software in C++ for ST microelectronics or STM32 products. It uses an enhanced GNU toolchain for STM32 based on GNU ARM embedded. It has an integrated version of STM32 QMX and MCU Finder. So this is a collection of many tools put together. Okay, it has the ST-Link GDB server. It allows STM32 device programming also through debug interfaces. So you can program your controller, you can debug your controller, you can do a lot of things through this interface, as we shall see in the course. It uses Eclipse 2022 03 and CDT version 10.6.2. It uses GNU tools for STM32 based on GNU tools for ARM embedded processors. This GNU GDB bundle, so it bundles the JRE. It has the ST-Link GDB server supporting ST-Link V2 and ST-Link V3. Segar JLink GDB server. It has the OpenOCD. It has got Windows specific build tools like BusyBox and Make, Linux specific build tools like Make. So this Make is separate from the Make that we downloaded. Now it might confuse you right now as to why I have downloaded the toolchain separately. And I repeat, we have downloaded because it will be needed for one of the segments or one of the chapters where we are going to manually compile our application, and we'll see the working of the linker and makefile, and we'll be using obj dump and elf. We'll be viewing the elf files, and we'll do a lot of operations of that sort, which will need us to be able to work on the toolchains on the console rather than through the IDE. So that's the reason. So after this, let us have a look. So we had given an install for GNU ARM toolchain, right? So let us have a look at that. So it will ask you whether it needs to install it, and then you say yes, and the installation starts. Here again, you have to prompt for it to add this toolchain to the environment variable. It will not do it straight away. So it will give you an option. If you don't do that, then you'll have to manually. So this is the destination folder, program files, ARM GNU toolchain, and so on, and then do an install. Once the install completes, it will ask you if it can add the environment variables. Say yes, otherwise you'll have to do it manually. Once you do that, then you can run the ARM GCC commands from your terminal, that is your command prompt. So let the install get. So once the installation completes, this box is going to be unchecked. Check this box, that is add path to environment variable, and then click on finish. So now our ARM GNU toolchain should be installed. So let us check if the toolchain is installed. One way to do it is straight away go into the code examples folder for demo, or any code that has been downloaded on your machine for the course. Open it, and we'll run the make utility straight away inside this folder. So this is the folder. So let us open a terminal here. Open partial window. Okay. So we open a partial window here, and we will see a slight problem in the make process, and I'll tell you what the problem is. We do a make. The moment we do a make clean, we will see that we are getting some errors. Okay. This is because the makefile that you have here has been written for. So let's edit it with Notepad++. The makefile has been written for Linux-based systems. So in the clean, we'll see that in detail later. The clean is using rm command. So instead of rm, if you comment this out, and instead of this command, if you give this for Windows, just do a del, that's all. So when you do a del and then you run the same make clean, now it will not throw any errors. Okay, sorry about that. It has to be separated by a tab. Let's do a tab separation, Control S. Let's check it out once again. Okay. Okay. So let us delete this. It is not, and come back here. Control S. So open this. Now it will work. Now, just a word of caution: when you are using these sets of files in the IDE, you have to revert back to the rm command, not this. I am just showing it to you because you will see this. When we will go to the chapter on makefile linker, you'll see you are facing this issue. So you need to be careful. So now it works, okay, but then let us revert it back to the RM control, because that is how even cube ID is going to accept the command. So when you do make clean, it is going to look for the RMRF, not look for the RMRF command. It will come to this segment and this is what it will understand, not this one. So that's, but if you are using if you are using the make utility and the toolchain standalone, then if you have to do a clean, this is the command. Rest of the commands will work as is. So now we know that our ARM GCC commands are also working. So if you want to still see whether ARM, if you give this command, you can see that it says no input files, means it is actually working. So this command is been added to the environment variable and it works fine. So till now we have downloaded all the tools that are necessary, but we have installed CubeIDE, we have installed the GNU Make utility, and we have installed the toolchain. What is remaining to be installed is the flasher. We have downloaded the flasher, that is Cube Programmer, but we have not installed the Cube Programmer. So if you unzip the Cube Programmer, this is how it is going to open. This is from some time back, but this is what it is going to extract to. That is the STM32 Cube Programmer Win64. This is what we downloaded. If you remember, this is what we downloaded from the ST side, the Cube Programmer and the IDE. From arm.com, we downloaded the GNU ARM toolchain, and from SourceForge, we downloaded the Make utility. So four applications so far has been downloaded, and 3 have been installed. So this is the 4th one. So this is the 4th install that we are doing now. So we have not installed these in any order, any particular order, because it is not required. You can install the tools in any order you want. They are not dependent. There is no dependency between these tools. The only thing is you need to be aware of what you have installed and what is remaining. So right now we are installing the Cube Programmer. You could have installed this first, IDE second, Make third, GNU toolchain in the end. No problem. Anything goes. Any order is okay. So the installer starts for the Cube Programmer. So you do a next once again, accept the terms, next. I have read and understood, you need not consent, you may or may not consent, do next. This is the installation path, leave it at that. Next, yes, the directory will be created, and then leave all of this as it is, do a next, and the installation starts and completes. Then it will ask you to install the device drivers necessary for the Cube Programmer. Just click on next and then do a finish. So the installation completes. Just do a next and create shortcuts on start menu and additional shortcuts on the desktop. Fine. Do a next. And then press done. So let's see if the icon has come up for programmer. Let's go to the desktop. So we see that the STM32Cube programmer icon has come up. Let's double click it and try to open it. So the Cube programmer is opening. So this is the ID. This is the Cube programmer. It's a relatively simple program which only does the flashing for you. And again, we will need this for the chapter on Makefile linker. So we have installed 4 applications so far. That is the GNU ARM Toolchain, Cube IDE, Cube Programmer, the Make utility. Now we have to install Teraterm. So while this is opening, let us try and install Teraterm. So let's look for Teraterm first. So this is a very simple installation. This is a standard installation that you have. So there's nothing to learn about this, but nevertheless, since we decided we are going to install the full package of tools that is necessary for the course, let us go ahead and install Teraterm as well. So it says Teraterm open source project. We'll go to any of these links and install Teraterm. So the STM32Cube programmer has come up. So this is how the interface looks like. You need to click on the second icon to flash your binary on the board. So this flashing, if you're using the ID itself flashes the code. If you want to compile if you want to do a compile on using the make utility and flash the binary file directly onto the board without the ID, then you need to use the programmer. So now we have come to, so Teraterm is actually being a bit elusive. So we have the Teraterm download. So it's Teraterm Pro 2.3. Let's click on that. Let's download it from here. So you will be facing these issues when you are trying to download some software. Maybe you'll land up in the wrong page and you'll have to search for a few things here and there. So let's see. Let us say download now here and see what happens. So ideally it should start downloading, else you can restart the download here. And as you can see, it is asking to install Teraterm 4.105. You can just do a save and it's a small application. It will save quickly. So once you downloaded it, just go to the downloads and double click on it. And that will install Teraterm for you. It's a very small application, so it should not be a big deal. So we have Teraterm here, 4.1.5 got downloaded. So just double click on it and it will install as it does. So we installed 5 applications once again: Cube IDE, Cube Programmer, ARM GNU Toolchain, the Make utility, and now Teraterm. So these are the 5 tools. If you have them installed on your machine, you should be able to follow along with the course. The main operating system that I will be working on is Linux. So I'm going to use a Linux Mint workstation to do the whole course, but then with whatever applications that you have installed on your Windows machine, you should not see the difference. You'll be very comfortable to follow along, and I've ensured that the way I treat the course is agnostic of the operating system. So I'm not going to use the Linux terminal in a way that is any different from the way you use the Windows command prompt for firing the builds. So I've used Linux exactly like I would use a graphical user interface based workstation. So following along should not be a problem absolutely on Windows. And if you have any doubts, or if you feel that there is something different and you're not able to follow along on Windows, you can always message me and I'll help you out. But I don't think you'll face any issues. I'm confident about that. So do a next, and then next once again, and just English, next, and install. So your Terraterm is going to be installed. Though it's already installed on my machine, this is how you do it, and you will see that Terraterm has come up on your desktop. And you can do launch Terraterm and just finish, and there you go. That's how Terraterm opens up, and this is how you configure it. So this was the setup that you had to do for the course on Windows. So see you in the next segment.